What's up, everybody? Zach the Car Guy here. So I am going to do a review of the 2016 Chevrolet Malibu. Now, a little bit of education on the mid-size car segment. Mid-size car being Chevy Malibu, Hyundai Elantra, Toyota Camry, and the king, the Honda Accord. So the Honda Accord has been the number one in the mid-size category for like the last 500 years. Case in point, or actually to prove that, Car and Driver has had the Honda Accord as their top 10 best list in the mid-size category for ever. I mean, it's like 25 times or something crazy like that. So the Chevy Malibu hasn't had exactly the same history as far as quality, as far as being worth the four wheels that it actually rides on. So when I went and I drove the new Chevy Malibu, it was with a lot of trepidation. I was completely expecting it to be not very good. I mean, not very good at all. But I have to tell you, it's a very good car. It's an excellent car. It's hard to not do comparison between it and the Accord, because I think if you're going to go into the mid-size car segment, that's what you need to shoot for. You need to aim for the king on the hill. You need to knock him off. And side by side, I think Chevy might have actually done it. It's a very good car. I drove the 1.5 liter turbo, which was kind of a shock to me because the Honda has a 2.4 liter, and on paper, horsepower to horsepower wise, and this is kind of something I want to talk to you guys about. Horsepower to horsepower wise, the Honda has like 20 more horsepower. But the key is torque. Torque is a completely different concept. Torque is the twisting motion of the engine. It's what physically overcomes the inertia that moves you forward. So your hard acceleration, you're getting on the freeway. Once you're on the freeway, getting around stuff in traffic, the torque is what does that. That's the number that you're really looking for. And the Malibu actually has more torque than the Honda Accord. And so even though it has a smaller engine and it's turbocharged, so that's kind of where things are going now. But even though it has a smaller engine and it's turbocharged, it actually has a little bit more torque. And so when you're driving it around, they've been able to use that less weight of the engine to really kind of balance things out. And as a front-wheel drive vehicle, now don't get me wrong, the Honda Accord, driving-wise and handling-wise, for a non-sports car, is pretty dead on. It is really, really nice. Unless you just absolutely throw it into a ridiculous corner trying to, hit like 1G lateral acceleration, the Honda Accord will do just fine on a curvy road and so forth. The Malibu actually felt a little bit better. It did. It was just really, really well balanced. Going into a curve, doing it. And the best thing is that it has, I believe, an 8-speed automatic transmission. So you have individual transmissions, whereas the Accord has CVT, continuously variable transmission. And it gives you a completely different feel when you're driving it, because the 8-speed transmission in the Malibu is very reactive, very on spot. Just, it keeps you in that power band, it keeps the turbo up and wound, and it keeps it I'm not gonna say perfect. I almost said perfect. I didn't say perfect. But it's very, very nice in its feeling of shifting between the transmissions, shifting between it, especially going into a corner, coming out of that apex. I was right there in the sweet spot of the power band. Felt really, really nice. Interior wise, you can definitely tell that the Malibu is the more updated model, that it's gone through. The dash looks beautiful. It's very well laid out. Everything is where it's supposed to be. I actually kind of prefer the Malibu's infotainment touchscreen system more than what is in the Honda. Now, I do like the one that's in the Honda now. Give or take, the fact that Honda now doesn't have a volume knob. I think they've kind of understood that that's a mistake, and in future vehicles that will change, most likely. But it's very well laid out. But the Malibu's, it's just a little bit crisper. It's a little bit cleaner. Visually, it's a little bit faster to see the different icons as you're kind of moving them around and operating the systems and so forth. Now, this is General Motors that we're talking about. The king of plastics. The king of the bean counters are in charge. And you can see some of that. There is a little bit of hard plastics here and there and so forth. But when you're dealing with a car that's between 25 and 35,000, that's kind of what you're going to get. You're going to get some nice soft touch materials. You're going to get, some kind of faux looking kind of stuff. It's aluminum like that kind of thing. But you are going to get a little bit of hard plastics here and there, kind of hidden in the corners and so forth. With the Malibu, you definitely have that, and it is slightly more apparent than in, say, like the Toyota Camry or the Honda Accord. More like what's in the Hyundai Elantra, when you kind of see the little hard plastics here and there. You can kind of tell that these are made to be a very large mass-produced car and kind of sent out there. Majority of them, probably 35-40% of them are going to be fleet lease to rental car companies and so forth. And you can kind of tell that with the interior treatments and how they've kind of done everything. But it's very tasteful. In a very un-General Motors-like way, it's very tasteful. It looks nice. How the center console comes down, just the interior treatment of the car, very nice. Seats, extremely comfortable. Very, very comfortable. When I was driving it, ran over bumps. Whenever I drive a car, I want to know where is its Achilles heel. Where's the kryptonite hiding in the car? Because every single car has it, no matter what kind of car it is. There's always kind of something that it doesn't quite do well, and so forth and so on. Even the really, really best cars always have some little thing. And the Malibu does have those. The one thing I did feel is when I was going into a corner and I hit a bump, it was fine. I never felt out of control, but I could feel like the chassis just couldn't handle. It wouldn't have handled any more than what I was giving it. So you have that. But the other thing is, and I don't know why Chevy did this. It completely boggles my mind. If you're aiming for the king of the hill and you're trying to knock him off his perch, you need to do stuff and you need to figure out, okay, what is he doing right? How can I do that and better? And for the most part, the Malibu was really, really, really right in there. But the Honda has a 17-gallon tank, and when you get the 1.5 liter turbo, it's a 13-gallon tank. That's 4 miles, or that's 4 gallons less. That's a huge misstep. When you're talking a car that averages about 31 miles per gallon, that's a lot. That's 120 miles of range that you don't have with the Malibu that you do have with the Honda. Plus the trunk on the Honda was larger, and you can definitely tell that they went for more styling than function in the interior cabin space, the overall canopy of the car, as it were, to give you the sense of visibility and so forth. I never really felt that there were very large blind spots per se, but it was definitely one of those situations where visibility was somewhat impeded, but not really that bad. The mirrors were fantastic. The overall feel of the car was fantastic. I gotta tell you, Chevy, good job. Absolutely good job. Because the Honda Accord, fantastic, wonderful car. But put a gun to my head and tell me which one is better, I'd say pull the trigger. I can't tell you. I absolutely can't tell you. Now, longevity-wise, that's going to be the key. Honda has the reputation for just absolutely lasting, forever. Chevy Malibu, not so much. So it's going to be interesting to see if they've put the longevity into the car, and that if the car 5-10 years from now, after it's reached 150,000 miles, how will it do? Will it last? That's the key question. So this is Zach the Car Guy talking to you, review of the 2016 Chevy Malibu. I'd have to tell you, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it about a 6.5. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. All right. Talk to you guys later.